Hey, 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 hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Limitless Show. Today, my guest and I will be talking about self-compassion, how to practice it, and the importance of it. So if that interests you, definitely have a listen. I am so excited to introduce you to my guest. We're just so on the same level. She is a self-compassion coach, which is great because that's a topic we're going to talk about today. So welcome, Jorlyse.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for bringing me here today. My name is Jorlyse, and I'm a self-compassion coach and mental wellness educator. Just like she said, we're talking about self-compassion today because honestly, it is my craft for a reason because it is something I literally think about every single day for at least the past 10 years.
I love your energy, so I can't wait to talk to you about this subject. So what I want to start off with and what I want to ask you is, what is self-compassion? What does it mean? In your words, how do you describe self-compassion?
Yes. So I believe self-compassion is being able to be kind to yourself at all times, and not just when something is going good for you, not just when you're just having a great day or great life or great perspectives, but even when something's really uncomfortable, when you're just nervous or when you're trying to undo whatever your natural reaction may be. So for example, if we're just even talking about public speaking or just making a new friend, like that can be nervous for some people, and there's definitely steps in between any process of growing or trying anything new. So I feel like self-compassion just really allows you to have that no judgment zone. Like that is the banner, no judgment. Banner number 2 is kindness. And banner number 3 is understanding that like everybody has moments, of discomfort and comfort or feeling love or feeling alone. Like there's so much emotions that we all have within this human experience. So it's just so nice to be able to understand like, okay, at this moment right now, like someone else is relating to your life and you may never meet them.
I love that.
Like, so cool.
Yeah, so it's no judgment, it's kindness, and it's everyone has the moments, so be kind to yourself kind of thing. I love that. So it's treating yourself how you'd want other people to treat you and how you want to treat other people as well. If anyone who has not watched a Limitless show before, basically I bring a new guest every single week, and we talk about a limitation they've had in their life, in the hopes that if someone else who is watching this has the same limitation, it will help them. And obviously you have chose self-compassion. So what I want to ask you now is, how was your life limited when you didn't have enough self-compassion? What did your life look like?
So for me, it was definitely having self-criticism and using that as like motivation, and also like getting through my life with academia or just other things in my life that I found to have joy in. But even in those specific things, I would find a way to criticize myself. And so for example, like dance, I've always been led to dance, or just music things, or just like kind of performance-based things. But if you're your harshest critic, you're never going to want to be in the front. You're never going to want to do a solo. Like even if someone says like, oh, everyone should try that once in their life. Like for me, that's like, yeah, probably once in my life, but just the inner dialogue is just so like, what if something goes wrong? Or like, what if I don't do as good as I would have did if I was calm? And it's just like, literally you have to calm yourself to be able to understand what that could look like, so you can try. Because if you don't try to put those beliefs into action, or if you don't try to push yourself even when it's uncomfortable, it's like you'll never know what you could have learned. And I know that people definitely are hearing a lot, like, to push yourself and to just try things, but the meaning behind that is that to try it with compassion. Don't try thinking like, oh, I hope I do good. Like, no. Try saying, I'm gonna try my best and I'm gonna have fun. Like that is the energy you want.
I really like these 3 pillars that you've been talking about. So what I want to ask you is, how do you have more self-compassion in your life? How can you be more kind to yourself? How can you be less judgmental? And how can you realize that everyone has their moments? What can you do, daily practices, or what do you do in your life to have more self-compassion?
Journaling has helped me. Literally, even in my younger days, like I came with my journals just to literally even prepare for like what I was thinking about, because I promise you, I kid you not, like every day I'm like balancing between my self-critic voice and my voice, and like which one I really want to take over. Like, so for example, in this journal, which said believe in yourself before it kind of got all scratched out. When I first got this journal, I was thinking, by the end of this journal, I want to believe in myself. And literally on the first page, I'm like, oh, to the first page, hopefully I can look back and be proud. And, you know, I can look back and be proud because it's filled in. Now, if it wasn't filled in, would I feel like I didn't accomplish my goal? You know, do I feel like there's a 100% mark of believing yourself? No, but I do know that there's a spectrum. And if I feel like I can grow in a situation, or in believing in myself, or in compassion, or in just being kind to myself, then that's growth in itself, you know? So definitely journaling has helped me from being able to see what I thought about, you know. And if I'm constantly thinking patterns, or if I have triggers or situations that I didn't necessarily fully forgive myself for, or fully forgive just the randomness of life, you know?
So, but going through these pillars, so I want to start with kindness. So how can one, if they are watching this video, how can they be more kind to themselves? So I think we've already said, like, checking your thoughts, checking your mind chatter. And if it's being horrible to you, I think one way to being kind is, if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. That's one way of being kind to yourself. How else would one be kind to themselves? That is one.
And also, I think if you take some time in nature, So if you have a plant in front of your house, if there's any greenery at all, just look at it and really be able to be like, this one piece of plant is mixed within all the pieces of nature, and just kind of be like, doesn't matter. You know, look at that piece of plant and ask yourself, does it matter? And see how that makes you feel, because whatever you answer behind that is like maybe what your voice may say. So looking at small things in life, I really would encourage people to make a gratitude practice of just noticing things whenever it comes to you, honestly, just making a practice to notice things and be grateful for them. That will definitely help you with kindness for sure.
Yeah, the more grateful you are, the more like happier you are, and the more happy you are, the more positive you are, and the more positive you are, the more, you know, you leak kindness and happiness and positivity.
Another thing I would say is to not take yourself too seriously. Just like a small child, if they fall and hurt their knee, you're gonna be like, it's okay. It's okay. Here's a bandage, and, you know, let's get some ice cream if that makes you feel best. Let's learn about how your body will heal. You know, like literally, like, let's not take ourselves too seriously, because we're all just figuring it out. Like, even Oprah, even no matter what name of person you may put into the blank, everyone's figuring it out, including your parent.
Yeah, definitely. And another one as well for kindness, it's not just being kind to your mind, it's being kind to your body, loving your body, loving who you are, being grateful that you actually have these limbs, or this head, or this brain, or this heart. Like, you have this body. And it's crazy, because I don't know what the actual statistics are, but it's like 10 times you're more likely to win the lottery 10 times than actually being born. So, like, love your body, be appreciative of your body, because it's so like it's just crazy that we're even here. So just be here in the moment and love your body for what it is, even if you don't, you know, quite want it to be how it is right now. It's about loving how you are right now and realizing that you're trying to be better. Like, you can love yourself and still improve yourself.
Body mind connection and body mind peace goes really hand in hand, honestly, because you cannot look at yourself and hate or massively dislike things that you see and not come to a place of acceptance or forgiveness or kindness within that. Because if you're constantly looking at something on you in dislike, it's like, where did that come from? Like, we're literally like, look back for yourself and be like, where did this come from? Where did these beliefs come from? And I kid you not, I'm sure you will maybe find like a family train within that. And that just shows you how things get passed down from generation to generation, because if I don't heal from something and my mom didn't heal from something and her mom didn't heal from something, then it makes sense that we're all looking at our shade of black and being like, am I happy with this shade? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many generational things that may or may not have been healed, and it's no one's fault, because I'm sure they had other things that they were doing, you know, with their time or life. But it's our responsibility to manage the things that we're able to like have control over or label, you know.
Yeah, that's so important as well. Like, it's not even for us, as you said, it's for our children. The way we talk about ourselves, our children will pick up on that, and they will see that you're talking to yourself about that. So they'll think, oh, it's okay to talk to myself about like that. So it's really watching what you say to yourself, not only for you, but for your family. The next pillar, judgment. Don't judge yourself too much. So I think we've said, don't take yourself too seriously. I think that can go in there as well. Like, don't judge yourself too much. Like, everyone makes mistakes kind of thing. But how do you not judge yourself?
By understanding that judging myself does not create any solutions. It truly doesn't. You're only pointing out things that you may not like, and maybe sure you can laugh about them, but why? There's so much other things to compliment. Like, literally the list of things to nitpick versus the blessings that's probably in the same category is just so, it's just so ridiculous. And so for me, whenever I catch myself in negative thought, and it may take some time, but when I catch myself in a negative thought, like, literally I will practice stopping myself and being like, what I mean is, like, fix that framework within yourself, because you're spending the most time with yourself, and it would just be a disservice to not come to a point of really, really loving every part of your experience.
Yeah. And also, if you're judging yourself, you can only judge yourself kind of in the past. You can't really judge yourself by thinking about the future. So if you're judging yourself, you're not in the present moment. You're actually stuck in the past. And you're also not like forgiving yourself or accepting yourself. And if you're not doing that, you're not loving yourself. You're not giving yourself compassion. You're not saying, hey, Emily, it's okay what happened. Like, you were you then, you're a different person now. It's not judging yourself so hard and living in this present moment.
So true. Because every day we literally learn something new about ourselves or the world or just something. And we can take pieces of those and feel like, okay, good. Like, I'm advancing in my life. I'm taking it day by day. I'm waking up and keep waking up. But if you keep waking up and remembering the stuff that you wish didn't happen, then you're still living in the past. Honestly, it's okay, because a lot of us weren't taught how to not live in the past. A lot of us weren't taught how to have that emotional regulation and being open with our feelings and talking to someone that you can confide in and trust, and to feel like your voice can be held, you know, and loved within whatever emotion or feeling you're having.
Definitely. And the third pillar you said was that everyone has their moments, right? So it's kind of like
the common humanity.
Yeah, so how would you practice that, or what would you say about that?
So for that common humanity, I would just say, like, life isn't just about good or bad. Again, like, we each have had moments of development, like, and that's okay, because we all will. You have moments where you have a moment where you're a child and you can't fully take care of yourself, and then you have moments where you learn to have more autonomy over yourself and over your own thoughts. And you can have that whole range of just understanding that we all go through this. We literally all go through this, as far as waking up, maybe brushing your teeth, nutrition, you know, emotions, wanting to have love, wanting to be heard, seen, authentic. We all want these things. And somehow in between the mix of that, we create a life. But at the end of the day, like, we all are humans who honestly want to be loved for who we are, like, right now, and not when you're better, or not when you're like less toxic. Like, no, held for you right now.
I think with that as well, we're so hard on ourselves about our failures, or we're so hard on ourselves about all these things, or the things we're struggling with, but the thing is, as you said, everyone's going through these things. You're not the only one. And you don't know it, but there are people in exactly or similar positions to you who are being critical to themselves. But it's not just you. It's everyone has this kind of world and you're not the only one. So it's nice realizing that too.
Everyone has their own perception. Like literally every single day, everyone has a different perception of how the day was. And to me, that's so comforting. And also like, wow, I guess you really do have control over your dialogue of what the day's meaning is. But knowing that everyone has a different meaning that they put towards everything is just really like, no one really knows what your day was. Like, you only have your honesty. So it's like, you have to say it, because if you don't, you're just gonna feel like you're feeling disconnected from your authenticity, and that's totally not where we want to be. You don't have to be stuck to your sad story or stuck to your like, my life is going good and people don't want to hear about the bad. Like, no, you can be in whatever spot you feel like you are on that range. Like, life has so many spectrums.
So the next question I want to ask you, because a lot of coaches like you and me, we talk about things because we've been through them ourselves. We've been through these hard, difficult times. So we like to talk about them to help other people, because we don't want anyone else to go through things that we've been through. So what I want to ask you is, when you weren't compassionate to yourself, well, what would you say to that person? What would you say to little you? What would you say to the younger you?
I would tell the younger me to literally keep dreaming, because for me, I would always like play with visualization and just be like, wow, I wonder what it would be like if I could do this, or I wonder what life would be like when I'm old. Like, I always had that thought of like, what would life be like when I'm older? And like, life will be happy, life will be good, because life will be whatever I create it to be, or whatever meaning I give it, you know. And there'll be moments and there'll be places and times where I'm in just doing different things, but it's okay, because I would totally tell myself that it all really will add together, even if I can't conceptualize it, even in this moment, but knowing that it will, because that's what's already happening.
I love that. And also, what would you say to someone who was struggling with self-compassion right now? Someone who's watching this, who is struggling to be kind to themselves or love themselves, or just be, nice towards themselves. What would you say to them?
Yes, I would tell you that you deserve to love on you. Like, you deserve to take up space. You deserve to be loud. You deserve to be heard. You deserve your more than a day or more than your moment. Like, create room for you, because you matter. And if there's been any pieces of you that has reinforced that you don't, I really want you to hold her in love. Hold her or him in love, because we're not meant to self-harm ourselves, verbally, mentally, emotionally, physically, none. Like, we're not meant to self-harm.
We're meant to love. And the most important thing is loving ourselves as well, because I think the thing that I found is, I could tell you so much that I love you, I think you're amazing, I think you're wonderful, I think you're beautiful, because you are. But if you don't feel that, it's kind of not there, because you have to feel it yourself, don't you? But if you don't feel it right now, I think it is also important to trust the people you trust. So when I didn't feel compassionate about myself, when I didn't love myself, I trusted in that my mum loved me, and she knows well, and she said I was a good person. And I hung on to that for a bit until I started to love myself. So really trust the people around you, and know that you wouldn't be hanging around with them if you didn't like them, and if they didn't like you. So you are worthy of this love.
Yeah. And I would also encourage you to trust yourself. Trust yourself in your own past and how you've overcame different situations, whether that be daily stressors or a breakup, or just other moments that may have felt like emotionally heavy upon like the thought. Just trust yourself in how you came through those, because sometimes that trusted person is not emotionally available to you during your moments, especially if you have a moment, which everyone does. And by a moment, I just mean life. By needing support, needing love, needing to outsource your love instead of pouring into yourself all the time. So if the person that you're trying to get some love from is just emotionally unavailable or distracted or XYZ, learn to trust yourself. Like, you may not need to be fully poured into, even at your quote unquote moment that you feel like you need it most. Like, maybe you can even tap into your own reserve and just be like, wow, I'm sure there's a part of me that can get through this right now, you know, and use that energy or that voice or whatever message you give yourself and keep moving. And like, that is you already kickstarting yourself into like self-compassion for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I just want to ask you, do you have any final words on self-compassion? Any final pieces of advice or things you'd like to say?
Yes, I would definitely tell people to make your way, for your voice to be heard, for you to validate yourself, because self-compassion is just all about validating the pieces of life, that there's love to be given back to yourself and to others, and that through that we can't give love with hate. You just can't do both. So like, kindness is the way, and if you're having troubles with that, definitely feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram is Glowing Girl Guide, and I provide coaching, and we can talk about it, because it's a journey and it's a mindset for sure. And so I just want to encourage you that daily emotional self-care is what you need, because our emotions and understanding what we like or what things bring us pleasure is how we can provide more of that to ourselves and to the world. So knowing what that feels like and to how to do that and how to look for more without judgment is the way that we can feel more energized just throughout our day. So I encourage you to just find things that make you happy and do more of that without the judgment of trying to be perfect or good or right. Just do it, because you should be happy. You should be happy when you're doing stuff that you like, instead of comparing or being in your head. Like, let's get out of our head with love.
Yeah, I love that. No, thank you so much for being here, Jorlyse. I really
Thank
love talking to
you.
you. And thank you everyone who's watched this. If you have enjoyed this, please give it a like, put a comment in the comments, and press the subscribe, plus hit that bell button. And I will be here next week. If you have found Jorlyse inspiring, I'll put all of her details in the description below. But thank you so much to everyone, and especially you, Jorlyse. I appreciate
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. This has been amazing.